The one company that called us and was proactive, that's where we purchased. Like, it was so funny that, like, I tell people when you get a lead that comes in, call, make a connection. Because you don't know if they're true. Like, I look at it as everybody's inquiring and they need help. That's why they're pressing that submit button. So go into it with a curiosity and introduce yourself. If they tell you to kick rocks, okay, cool.
Yeah, we do
Kick
like.
rocks.
Welcome to the Leading Lane podcast for real estate pros by real estate pros with your hosts, Ashley Frederick and Stephen Birch. If you're looking for an honest, authentic, and raw perspective, you found it.
All right, welcome to the Leading Lane podcast. Today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite thing to do in sales, or really anything in business, follow up, right? Like, follow up is something that I think that people tend to run away with, and it is maddening to me seeing when people do not do follow up and also experiencing it from the other side when you are the consumer for whatever of not receiving that follow up when you're expecting to be able to purchase something, buy a service, whatever. So, a lot of examples that we have. Ashley, run with it. Follow up. What is it for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just literally like the simple touch back to someone, like whatever that might be, like whether it's you're in the middle of a transaction and you're following up because the home inspection just happened or the appraisal just came back, or I mean, the one real big struggle right now for us is showing feedback, because some people think you should give showing feedback. Some people don't think that you should. So that's a whole situation right now. And again, like even if you just said not interested, I feel like that'd be better than ignoring people.
Nothing.
But I think about it like personally, like there's been a couple things that I wanted done at my house and had like a contractor come out, and they came like one time and I never heard from them again. But had they reached back out and been like, hey, just following back up about that concrete patio or whatever, like I likely would have hired them. But the fact that I must have just been like a number to them
Mm-hmm.
made me think like, nah, maybe not the case. I think that I'll have to agree with some things I see online. So like one recent thing I've seen is that like setting your buyers up on a search result is like no longer the thing to do in real estate. And I can't necessarily agree with that, because my search alerts for clients have still generated me a ton of business. And I think it probably maybe depends on the age group that you're working with a little bit, but like same thing yesterday, like condos are so few and far between in our areas, like non-existent almost. So they come through like a dime a dozen. I was out on a showing yesterday and a condo got listed. Well, I have 5 people set up on condo alerts, and one emailed, called, and texted me and was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you remembered that we wanted a condo. We want to see it tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do anything. But right, it's that was the follow-up to them wanting a condo. And even other times, like I have another one where they're new back at buying, and sure, I also explain to people that it's not always me. Like I'll be like, this is to help while I'm out. And so she responded like, it doesn't have AC, so I'm not interested. And I was like, no big deal. Just remember that you might get alerts that you don't like, just delete them. But otherwise, funny enough, she text messaged me and was like, we decided we want to see the one without air. So right on the real estate side, like to me, that's super simple, but also I think we talk about it like in the post closing, a couple days after closing, like how did things go? And you'd be surprised. I've tried to work on that, which again, you can use your CRM for too. But any unknown surprises? I think somebody had like a plumbing issue when I reached out, and I was like, remember you have the home warranty. Oh, I completely forgot that I had a home warranty. Like just those little things, to me, those are the things that when people come back in 5 or 6 years and decide they want to sell, like they're going to remember that you stayed in touch, that you followed up, even followed up on house anniversaries or birthdays. That's why I kind of like being Facebook friends with clients, is it's a good way to stay in touch with them as far as what's going on in their lives. So I think it's just the like staying in tune and not just dropping people off along the way.
I mean, and really, is it follow up or is it follow through?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right? Like
both, right?
the like, it's not just a I think we're definitely in an instant gratification world. We all know that. But like the picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, last time we spoke, you weren't ready to buy your house or buy a house yet. Are you ready to buy now?" Like that has no value. I mean, at least you called them. I mean, kudos to you, I guess. But like, what is the real connection that you're having? And I do agree that there's still a purpose and a place for like the smart campaigns or the search alerts to be going out to people, but that's not only what you do. And I
Mm.
think that's where people think that, oh, cool, I'll put them on a search alert and
I'll never
that's
talk to
follow
my guy.
up. That's not follow up. That's just like a number, right? Like that's just putting them in there and that's non existent. And I think that's something, I mean, I know we talked about multiple times when people talk about leads. Well, leads are people. And if you start treating your leads, your follow up like people, and how can you contribute to them, how you can provide value and meaningful, not just because that's what you want to talk about that day. Like it has to be the connection. And
Yeah.
I think that's where the AI, all these systems and everything else, it's not going to replace us because it's going to enhance us, but it's the connection human to human that we need to be able to continuously have. People are craving it and wanting it, but a very far and few between are actually providing it.
Well, in that same condo buyer, they have a house to sell that I looked at like 2 years ago, and like it's all of a depending of the right house before they move, right? But I normally just call every 6 months and just say like, "Hey, haven't talked to you guys for a while. Just wanted to see if you made any changes to the house, like how your health is doing or whatnot." And I remember the last time she was like, "Well, that was really nice of you to check in." And I was like, "Well, I haven't talked to you for a while, and it's spring market or whatever." So it's the same one. So it wasn't an awkward for her to get that email from me. There's another seller that I've been working with for like 3 years because everyone has a different process of how they have to get to selling or
Mhm.
whatnot. And I've been over there like every 4 or 5 months, and we're slowly getting there. And I have like a list of, buyers and sellers, and I kind of looked at it and I was like, "Oh, I haven't heard from her for probably like 3 months now," which is kind of strange. And so I called her and was just like, "Hey, like we're getting towards the end of summer. I know we were talking about listing this summer, so wanted to see where things were at." And like here she had, I don't know, gone to visit someone and ended up staying for 2 months. But
Mm.
the interesting piece of this, and this is also where I think a local lender comes into play, is I said, "You've been gone for 2 months?" She's like, "I have." And I was like, "Hmm. Did you know that there was a hailstorm when you were gone?" She said, "No." I was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure every single one of your neighbors have gotten a new roof, so it's probably something that we're going to want to look at." And so she had no idea, right? But now there's a roofer coming out this week to look at the house to make sure that if it is, it falls in that insurance claim. But all of that came from a simple follow-up call, and then, went out there. So I just think it's interesting, like what else can happen from a follow-up call.
Yeah. I mean, and really, again, that's value that you provided. Like nobody else would know that. And because you actually care, you're compassionate, and you want to be able to help. And that's truly where I think that if people turn things to, instead of how do I sell this person, how do I close them really quickly, to how can I help and go into it with curiosity and open mind, it's going to eliminate all of these sales tactics and everything else that you think you have to have. And I think a big thing here too is the proactive follow through versus reactive, right? And making sure that you are like the way that I would try to program everything or do everything is how do I schedule my future self to do something? How do I tell myself in 6, 12 months, whatever, however the timeline is, to do a specific task so I don't forget about it? So let me be bossy today to my future self so that I know I'm not going to drop the ball. So the proactiveness, I think, is where you really set yourself aside from your competitors, or I mean, really anybody, because you're not just sitting there waiting them to, call you and say, "Hey, I'm ready to make a move." You're actually there in front. You already know what's going on. You already know about their house. You know about the storm that came through. You're being proactive in building that. And as you are doing that, you're creating the value, you're creating the relationship. And people want to work with people that they have a relationship with, that they know, like, and trust. Make that be you. And that's all you have to do is make connections.
Yeah. And I
So,
think it just goes back to like putting yourself in those shoes.
What do you think the main reason why people don't use the tactic of just picking up the phone and making the connection and reaching out?
I mean, I think two things. I think laziness. I think some people just think that they're always guaranteed a client. I think that some people forget that a lot of clients know 5 to 10 realtors, and there might be someone that is in, I mean, it's not to say that one person might not be on 3 realtors, CRMs or whatnot. I know for a fact that that's the case, but like, who's doing the meaningful follow-up? Who's like
Mm-hmm.
checking in on them versus like just assuming that someone's going to work with you, because,
Mm-hmm.
assuming actually means. But I think that otherwise it goes back to just fear of rejection or not knowing what to say, when in all reality, like, it's just having a simple conversation. Even hey, you crossed my mind the other day. I did that with a buyer. I mean, they had had a kid and I hadn't heard from him for a while, and I was like, I should give him a call. And I was like, I saw the pictures of the newborn. I figured we hadn't talked in a while, and I thought I would just call and see how things were. I didn't ask them about their house or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, but naturally it came up in the conversation, right? Like they said, like, oh yeah, like we are outgrowing, like we're gonna have to think about something soon. And that wasn't my true intention. Like, it was somebody that I cared about and I wanted to check in with them. But obviously there's the backside of real estate that I do believe that they would contact me when that time came.
Absolutely. And, ironically, yesterday I was meeting with one of our new agents, and I used you as an example of how, like, making sure that you're being strategic about what you're doing and intentional with your touch points and organizing your customer relationship management system. And so I was talking about how, like, you send out a happy holidays card, typically, like it's a big ass card. It's about you and Ben. It's not a newsletter, right? Like, but what do you call that thing?
Oh, you mean it's like our yearly recap for Christmas?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I mean, you're talking about what you have done and what you have experienced, and the pictures of you and Ben and different events and these different things that you're doing within the community. And you're just literally saying, like, I'm catching you up on my life in a quick synopsis, right? Nowhere in there does it say, I want to sell your house. I want you to buy with me, right? Like, you are making a human connection. People get to see that. And it's the consistency that matters. It's not just a one time send a catch up letter and now they're going to work with you for life. Like, you constantly are working your people and checking in and making sure that you are there for them. So when they are ready for whatever it may be, it doesn't even matter if it's going to be like a vendor recommendation, you're going to be there. They're going to thank you. That is how, I mean, you sell 100 freaking houses a year. It's all about the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it just goes back to like, so you'll appreciate this. I moved Asana onto my home screen
Mm.
because the amount of things that like come up in one day, like, shit, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to call this person yet. And so like now I put it on my home screen so that like every time something like, oh, I need to call them, or I see something, or like I need to send them a card, or I need to do brochures. Like, I stopped by someone's house and they had one brochure left. So I was like, shit, I need it. And it's gotten really long, really fast. But you have to have these somehow, like, we think we can remember everything. And I don't know if it's like over the age of 40 or perimenopause or whatever that might be, but I can't remember everything anymore. So there has to be something somewhere that's not always CRM. I mean, it's other things, but you have to help yourself along to not forget. And right, like, I feel bad if I forget something, like I was going to do something and then, somebody walks in and you forget or whatnot. So it's just really a matter of trying to get into the habit of, as soon as it pops in your mind, like, write it down in whatever system that you have so that you remember to come back to it, so you don't drop someone by the wayside.
I think that the remembering part, specifically like new agents or agents that don't have a lot of production, like, I'm not talking shit, it's just the truth. Like, you think that you can remember, and you're like, oh yeah, like I'll remember to go in and wish everybody happy birthday on Facebook. Oh yeah, I know that I can write out, the holiday cards at the end of the year. Oh yeah, I mean, like, you're adding and compounding these things together. Well, when you have 3 deals a year that you do, no shit, you can remember it. But now when you go and look at it from a larger perspective and you are compounding and you're growing your business, and look at your future self in 5 years, 10 years, how are you going to remember those people that started your career out and making sure that they're still getting that same level of customer experience, customer touch that you provided, you're not going to remember that in 10 years. You're going to lose it. And you're going to lose those people too. So get into the habit now, figuring out whatever the system is, making sure that you're consistent with it, holding yourself accountable. This is legit a relationship business. Legit. And if you can't create the relationships and keep the relationships, I don't think you're going to make it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was thinking about there's like a procedure that I was thinking about having done, and like no one's followed up with me after the original appointment. And I just thought to myself, like, if somebody would have followed up, like, I probably would have had it done already, or would have, you know, asked for another opinion. And so again, like, it just goes back to like we're all running these businesses, but like, what are we running them on? And so same thing, like we talked about our driveway or whatnot, and like I think I'm just gonna write a friendly email afterwards and just be like, you know, as a fellow business owner, like these are the things I'd suggest. Like it would help your business tremendously. And again, like you don't have to be mean. And if it were my business and somebody saw a flaw somewhere, like I would appreciate some type of, you know, like, hey, I think you do this better. You know, and I would hope that people would take that to heart. And then you have to think of how much busier people would be. Like, yes, you're already busy, but like it's kind of like we're talking about real estate. Like you get focused on where you're at right now. So like it's a busy week. So I'm not going to do all those things. I'm not going to reach out. I'm not going to follow up. I don't need to do that because I got all this business coming. And then all that business closes or they've found someone else. And now you're like stuck in this pool where you don't have
Yep.
things going on because you didn't stay in touch with people because you were too busy instead of just using your systems to make it work for you.
Are you too busy, or is it that you're maybe not very productive and so you're just doing busy work?
I hate when
Maybe.
people say that they're too busy because it's like we talk about, like if we were to pull someone's social media usage, TikTok hours, Facebook
Mm-hmm.
hours, Instagram hours, doom
Mm-hmm.
scrolling, right? I guarantee you that most people have a minimum of, what do you think, 20 hours a week?
Well, at least.
At least. I mean, if you took one of those 20 hours and just spent it on follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see where that would end up in the next 60 to 90 days.
I love doing that, and I also love seeing how many text messages are they getting. Because if you are telling me that you're slow, but yet you're not following up with clients, you're not following through with anything, you're not doing any reach out, but yet you're still texting and you're getting your Snapchat and you're doing all of this stuff. I mean, it shows me that you can talk to people, but you're refusing. So is it really that you're slow, or is it a priority issue and you don't want to put that into play? I love doing those tricks, and typically when I'm working with a client or one of our agents, and so let me see your screen time real quick. It's like shit, like because it's I mean
It's a
it's right
hard
there.
truth. It's a reality check,
Yes, it is.
unfortunately.
Yes, it is. You know, I do think it's funny too, is that in this follow up, you know, of course, there's multiple different methods of following up. But here recently, we're looking for a new vehicle, and I personally inquire online. That's just how I am. I don't want to call a dealership. I don't want to do all of that. I just want everything online so I can see. But I thought it was really interesting that I was like, nobody is calling back. Nobody's calling me or saying, hey, let's set up a call. It's like, let me answer the question, and then we go a step further and they're like, let me get that over to this person. Let me get that over to this person. It's transferring me around and jumping me around and having to then re-say the whole situation over and over and over again. The one company that called us and was proactive, that's where we purchased. Like, it was so funny that, like, I tell people when you get a lead that comes in, call, make a connection. Because you don't know if they're true. Like, I look at it as everybody's inquiring and they need help. That's why they're pressing that submit button. So go into it with a curiosity and introduce yourself. If they tell you to kick rocks, okay, cool.
Yeah, we do
Kick
like
rocks.
our furnished apartments, and I had someone reach out last week, and you know, I told her when it was available and stuff like that, and then I told her that that one wasn't available, but a couple other ones would be available in the next month. And then it turned out that her contract didn't come through, so it might come through later. But she said, I'll be sure that when I come back, I reach out to you first. You're one of the only people that got back to my inquiry.
Simple. Like, you're spending all these marketing dollars. You're doing all of these things. I mean,
Zillow
people try to
leads
think,
and Bull Trail leads and all the leads.
and yet, yeah, if you just would return people's calls or return their texts, return their emails, not make assumptions. Like, you're there to help and provide a service. Do it. Be a decent human at least. Introduce yourself. I don't know. So what would you tell somebody that if they have been resisting the picking up the phone or resisting writing that newsletter or whatever it may be, whatever the resistance may be, what would you tell them to do to get them over that hump?
Just effing do it. Right,
It's
but it
that
also
simple.
goes back to like eat the frog. Just get it over with. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Kind of on a different scenario, but I have a friend that's in a unique situation, and she's just been like putting off the inevitable, and it's been making her sick every day or whatnot. And I joked with Ben, I was like, God, am I like that friend that pushes people too hard? And so I texted her back and I was like, rip off the frickin' Band-Aid. Like, it doesn't matter if you do something today, next week, and a month, like, just rip off the Band-Aid. And it was supposed to be like a couple days later. She text messaged me that she did it the next day. I was like,
Good.
I hope it all worked out. And it did or whatever, but that's what I think is sometimes, and that's what she said too, is like, I just need that one person to push me or remind me. And so like, if you're struggling, like, find an accountability partner, be like, hey, can you make sure that I make my 5 calls or 5 follow-ups this week? And I'll make sure that you do yours. Like, it can be your spouse, it can be your friend, it can be a coworker. Like, everybody struggles with it. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We just all have to make a little bit of time and effort to do it.
And it's recognizing it. It's recognizing that you, right, are the person that has to do it. Like, you gotta look in that mirror. So, good stuff. Follow up, follow through, get the shit done, eat the frog, just fucking do it, right? Very simple things. So, thanks for tuning in to the Leading Lane podcast, guys. We appreciate you as always, and make sure you check out the next one.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share with others. Stay connected for more genuine insights and strategies to boost your real estate career on Facebook or check out our website. We'll see you next time.